A customer may face difficulty and unintended consequences if they want to cancel only one service in a package, as canceling part of a discounted bundle may increase the price for the remaining services. Well, whose fault is that? Just decrease the price. You can decrease the price. You're the company. You get to set the price. Just make it lower. Idiot. Powell said that cable company reps can usually talk customers out of canceling. That's what it comes down to. They want to toss you over to a voice, a human being, to put pressure on you to not cancel. Because they know that once they get you through that door, it's very likely that they'll be able to talk you out of it. Especially if they're selling you some deal, which seems like pretty good on the face of it, but it just re-ups you back to the regular price pretty quickly anyway. And then they can keep you going and going and going. Quote, out of millions of cancellations, complaints received by NCTA members, in other words, the big companies, amount to only a tiny fraction of 1%. I severely doubt that. I severely doubt that well, what are the options that they provide you? Like, why are you canceling? I just didn't get a good enough deal. I can't afford it anymore. Do you on that list with the little, option to select online when you try to cancel, do you ever see, God, this company sucks. God, the service they provide is absolutely horrible. No, you don't. No. And even if they did have the information to say that, they would lie about the complaints that they're receiving. They really would. And I believe they've done that here. And this part is probably true, 3 out of 4 of the cable and broadband customers who called to cancel because they didn't have another option end up retaining some or all service after speaking with an agent. And that's why they want to keep this. That's why they want to make it more complicated. That's why they don't want one-click cancellation. Because there's a good chance they can lure you back in with a lie about a good deal. And so they don't like the ability to have a customer do what they want or need to do. Powell worries that retaining customers will become tougher because, he said, the FTC proposal prevents almost any communication. We need to communicate with our customers without first obtaining a customer's unambiguous affirmative consent. I'm sorry. If you're canceling, you click cancel. That's clear. And you shouldn't have to communicate with them. You shouldn't have to communicate with them and the only reason why they want to get a hold of you is to try and change your mind. And do you want to be contacted by one of these companies? No, you don't. You want to have as little to do with them as possible. Nobody wants to talk to them. Now, Michael Powell continues, that could disrupt the continuity of important services, choke off helpful information, and forego potential savings. That's why they need to communicate with you, so they can lie to you and keep your money. It certainly raises, now get this, it certainly raises First Amendment issues. Yes. Yes, that is what the First Amendment was talking about. The ability of a cable company to try and convince you not to cancel your subscription. Congress shall make no law respecting the cancellation of a cable subscription or a streaming service. That's what it says, right? First Amendment issues. There's more to this. There's more to this. I'll read one more paragraph before we take a break. Powell also said the cost of complying, including retraining employees. You don't have to retrain the employees. You don't need the employees because you're not calling them to lie to them and maintaining records for longer than current practice. It makes it simpler. You don't have to do anything. It saves you money. Could force cable companies to raise prices. Whatever. They're going to raise prices anyway. When they say that, don't believe them. Like when they say, well, if you do this, we're going to have to raise prices. Their lips are moving. They're going to raise prices. They're always going to raise prices. Just get that through your head, okay? And Powell also claimed that the FTC's estimate of compliance costs is too low. Yes, we have to not do too many things. There are too many things that we have to not do. All right, again, this is from arstechnica.com. The title of the article, Cable Firms to FTC, we shouldn't have to let users cancel service with a click. We will be right back because there's a lot more entertaining things in this article. I am Beowulf Rockland. This is Facepalm America. We shall return. Facepalm America, I'm Beowulf Rockland, and again, we are reading from an article titled Cable Firms to FTC, that's the Federal Trade Commission, we shouldn't have to let users cancel service with a click. And that's from arstechnica.com. It's an article that you should take a look at yourself. I know I'm going through it here and commenting on it, but sit down and read it. It really is fascinating, because I think this is something that we've all gone through. Tried to cancel a subscription service and found it extremely difficult. And then we realized that these companies are actively trying to keep it that way, even though the government is trying to make it better by preventing that. So, let's continue. The FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, said one of its proposed rules would require businesses to make it at least as easy to cancel a subscription as it was to start it. Now that makes a hell of a lot of sense. Doesn't that seem obvious? Doesn't that seem fair? It should be at least as easy to cancel a subscription as it is to start a subscription. Absolutely. For example, if you can sign up online, you must be able to cancel on the same website in the same number of steps. Not go down a rabbit hole and click to this page and click to that page and take a survey and can we give you a call and blah, 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 blah. No. Click to start, click to cancel. That's perfectly fair. That's the way it should be. It's not that way now. The government, the FTC, in this case your friend, wants to make it that way. The big companies don't want to have it that way. Cable companies, streaming companies, no. Sellers would also have to obtain customer consent before they pitch additional offers or modifications when a customer tries to cancel their enrollment. Because, they get you on the phone and they'll say, hey, are you sure we could give you this really good deal? And then, sometimes it's a good deal, but you should have to say whether you want them to even pitch that to you. You have that right. And often, those deals are deceptive and will cost you more money in the long run. It's going to cost you some because you're still got the subscription. And that's really all they care about, making sure that they still have you and that they can still charge you money. Before making those pitches, sellers would have to ask consumers whether they want to hear them. In other words, a seller must take no for an answer. And that's what they're being told. They're being told no. No, I don't want to hear it. Just cancel. No. And you shouldn't have to yell at the top of your lungs or repeat yourself a dozen times in order to get that across. And upon hearing no, must immediately implement the cancellation process. That's what anybody should want, and that's what any sane system would provide. Here's another thing that they're trying to put in place. The FTC also proposes that sellers be required to provide an annual reminder to customers enrolled in negative option programs. In other words, you stay in until you cancel. If you don't have to renew to keep it going, if it just automatically keeps going, which is questionable in itself, then you have to at least provide an annual reminder that you're involved in it. If for any programs involving anything other than physical goods, before, not when, but before they are automatically renewed. Haven't you had it happen? I know I've had it happen to me. I get a note like when it's renewed, once the charge has already been made. I'm like, shoot, I forgot to cancel that. Because they didn't remind you. Because they know that you're busy, and they know that, you've got a million things to do, and they're going to take advantage of that, and they're just going to charge again. And if you don't right then, cancel it, then it'll keep going on for another cycle, another month, or another year, whatever it happens to be. And the FTC says, no, you got to send a reminder. That's the least they should have to do. At yesterday's hearing, the FTC also heard from the Interactive Advertising Bureau, the IAB, a lobby group for the online advertising industry. And I love this phrasing that they have here from the Interactive Advertising Bureau. The proposed rule would disrupt the current regime by adding specific requirements dictating what auto renewal disclosures must say and how they must be presented, said Lartiz Tiffith. That's a name for you. I say that being a Beowulf, of course. Lartiz Tiffith, the IAB's executive VP for public policy, a lobbyist, in other words. The proposed rule would disrupt the current regime. I think we need to disrupt the current regime. The current regime is not so good. It needs to be disrupted. And listen to what they're saying shouldn't be disrupted. Adding specific requirements dictating what auto renewal disclosures must say and how they must be presented. Well, sure. You have to make it clear. You have to tell people the truth. They don't want to tell the truth. They want to lie to you and get your money. Lartiz Tiffith argued that the rule will burden businesses. They're so burdened. Oh, businesses. Oh, how ye are burdened by an onslaught of regulation allowing people to cancel easily. What a burden! And restrict innovation. What kind of innovation does that restrict? Unless, of course, you're referring to the kind of innovation where people think of new and evil ways to trick you into continuing to give them money. That kind of innovation will be restricted and should be. And restrict innovation without any corresponding benefit, Lartiz Tiffith continues. And as the technology develops, These